What happens when a trans person leaves their own community because they believe that the community has gone too far with their insane gender ideology that has nothing to do with the gender transition, with gender dysphoria, and with trans people in general? A lot of things will happen. It's a roller coaster ride. I'm one of those transsexuals, and today I want to show you what type of reactions I get since coming out as a non-woke, non-crazy trans person. So someone took a screenshot of my Instagram bio and wrote, "Republic cucked." A political cuck, C-U-C-K, is a weak man, often used as a term for a man with moderate or progressive political views. So not me, because I'm not a man, and I'm not a progressive. But okay. I think they're referring to, I'm gonna assume because I've heard it so many times before, that the reason why I say what I say on my channel, you can't change your biology, children shouldn't transition, is to get affirmation and love from Republicans. Gaydon with humiliation kink. So a Gaydon refers to a trans man who dates gay men, and it's the trans man version of transbian, a transgender lesbian. And these transbian, these biological males who identifies as lesbians, feel entitled to be in lesbian spaces, and they have received a lot of pushback. Apparently I'm the same as these creepy men when it comes to gay men, and I also have a humiliation kink. This person thinks my content is so cringe, so I must get turned on by getting humiliated. No, that's not the case. Simply cannot stand like this, to be perfectly honest. He's a trans Milo Yiannopoulos. Calling me a is so gender affirming, thank you. What's so confusing about my haters is some will try to bully me and my femininity by calling me a even though I'm not a gay man. But I have noticed that most of the time, trans activists, the woke ones, the politically correct ones, love to bully me by calling me a woman, as she, her. And she's a Zionist, pick a struggle. Zionist, Gaydon, Republic cucked, pick a struggle. It's so funny how trans activists are breaking their own rules by calling a trans man a she. He says he's offensive to try and be edgy when in reality he's just retarded. The retarded This person writes, "You're mentally ill, you cockless cunt. One bullet is all I need." Wait, you're confusing me. Who is the one who should get unalived? You said one bullet is all I need. So do you want the bullet to go into you or me? The audacity and power of presenting as a man makes you feel so on top of the world, huh? Better than all other men, huh? And trans men who disagree with you are just wrong, huh? Right. The trans community accuses me of being arrogant, not as an individual, but as a trans man. Activists claim I believe I'm a better trans man than others, like I'm better at being trans. That's so weird and doesn't make sense, because there's no competition here. Going through a medical transition is personal and has nothing to do with other people. The audacity and power of presenting as a man. What she's referring to here is what the trans community calls passing privilege. And it's the concept that trans people like me face less discrimination due to us passing as the opposite sex in society. And strangers do not know that we're trans. It's a bad thing to have passing privilege. Why? Don't ask me, I don't know. Back in the day, passing was the whole point of gender dysphoric people transitioning. But today, activists will use it against you. It's somehow a bad thing to pass? While I'm happy you don't get dysphoria, you still come across as selfish and entitled. In the content you post, you punch down other trans people who don't have the same dysphoria as you in order to make yourself look like a true trans. What are you trying to prove? I think you just said it. It comes off as insecure and just completely mean. Trans people can come in many different shapes and forms. Your content harms people and only spreads ignorance. Why can't you use your platform for actual good? You're such a fascist when it comes to gender. Seriously pandering to ignorant people and trying to be the young buck angel is not an accomplishment. I respectfully disagree. Okay, so I'm selfish and entitled for defining what it means to be a gender dysphoric individual. An experience I personally have. How is it selfish for me to clarify to the world that there's a difference between a creepy, predatory man and the average gender dysphoric male? Am I the only one who thinks that if this dude had been born a male, he would have a micropenis? He wants to keep using his vagina to sleep with gay men while calling himself a biological female Living as a man, he's like a biological sissy. I don't know what that means. He has small energy for sure. So while I'm advocating for children and women's rights, you're thinking about my genitals. Don't you think it's just a little bit inappropriate? And don't you think it's inappropriate to body shame or to shame the men who have a small dick? Want to hate very bad. Thanks, but no thanks. This is never gonna happen, buddy. Not in a million years. He's so self-loathsome, it's kind of hot. I'd probably him, but the hate sex would have been great. My haters accuse me of supporting people who want to harm me, who want to unalive me, talking about Republicans, conservatives in the United States. Why on earth would I support them? By their own logic, I should not be supporting them. At all. They have no evidence that Republicans want to unalive me. Absolutely no evidence, but I have the evidence right here that they want to do it. They want to harm me. So, make it make sense, people. Someone posted a picture of me and this guy wrote, "These eyes have seen thousands of cis cocks." What makes you think I'm a cis cock magnet? Do you think I'm hot? Crazy how all of these people imagine me with all of these cocks in my face all the time. Even their own cocks. The degeneracy in these people's distorted minds. Make it stop. There's no such thing as a cis cock. All cocks are attached to a man. I'm gonna shove an electric rod up his cervix. I know this is a total buzzkill, but I don't have a cervix anymore. I got a hysterectomy, I got everything removed, so... I hate having to wish a brother like this, but... But what? What's gonna happen? Please tell me in details, so I can send it to the police. And they're gonna arrest y'all ass. I'm tired, y'all. Tired of all this nonsense. If I'm so wrong about everything that I say, if I'm just a cringe loser, just an actor paid by Ben Shapiro, why resort to violence? If trans activists are right about everything they say, have morals, ethics, science, facts on their side, why prioritize bullying and harassing the people who are so obviously wrong? Why do they even need violence? I just don't get it.
So I just found out that I made the thumbnail of a transphobic trans person's YouTube video. The funny thing is that the video that I'm gonna misgender her because she misgendered me. The video that she posted of mine, I'm clearly being facetious and she thinks I'm being serious. Being transgender makes you delusional because I'm convinced that I pass right now, but I know that I don't. How many outrage videos have you seen of people being like, "Oh, woke liberal says cringe thing," and then you watch the video and the woke liberal is clearly being sarcastic?
99% of the time, these crazy woke liberals are crazy and woke.
And this person thinks that they're being serious and they're like, "Oh, this is proof that liberals are fucking crazy."
I know that you think you're not delusional and you think that you are a guy. That's why I chose to react to your video. Congratulations, you got picked. The point I was trying to make was, fake trans people like you are delusional. You look 100% like a woman, which you are, and just because you have a big-ass septum piercing doesn't make you any less of a woman. I know, I'm so intolerant. I get it, I'm sorry. I'm just one of those hateful people who believe that women can wear whatever they want and still be women.
Like, this person's opinion does not matter to me.
Obviously. Of course you're so confident and at peace with yourself that you have to curse at a transsexual, talking shit about a person's identity that you're appropriating. Of course it's only loving and confident people who do that.
You're a transphobic trans person. You are pandering to the people who want us dead.
What are you doing? Don't expose me. How did you know that's what I'm doing? Listen, honey, it's obvious to us all that you're the transphobic one. You have a problem with the definition of what it means to be trans. You go out of your way to absolutely shit on a real transsexual. So these are sweet comments I got when I posted a video of me walking around the progressive flag on the sidewalk. I hope you get ran over. Thank you, they, them, theirs. Player tip, off yourself. This is just a picture of... yeah, a knife. Thank you. His bio says, gender disturber. I think you're just disturbed, but if it makes you feel better, you can call yourself a gender disturber. And here's another one saying I should off myself. Isn't it crazy how, like, ugly you are inside out? You're a dumb twink who is trying to be the male Blair White. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. The irony. If you actually write this to another human being that you do not know, who has done something ugly and embarrassing, and that's why these comments don't really bother me at all. There are people who struggle a lot with their mental health, and it doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does explain it.
You want to see his bio? Not a real man, but a biological woman living a life as a man. What the
What's wrong? I'm just stating I'm trans. Do you have a problem with my lifestyle or my transition? It almost sounds like me being trans triggers you. When I as a trans man say that I'm not a real man, I often face bullying and hostility from those who are supposed to affirm and support me.
There's a trans guy called Marcus, and he does not like me. He loves using me in thumbnails. Basically, Blair White, if Blair White was a trans man, not a trans woman, but with less subscribers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Being compared to Blair White is such a huge honor.
He'll take a normal photo and just up the saturation so it just makes me look really, really ugly. And it's like, I look at that, I'm like, that's not what I look like.
That's true, I do that. If you think you look ugly when I enhance your features, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do with that.
Also, like, really conservative, and his videos have just gone more and more down the right-wing route.
When I say there are only two genders, men should not be in women's sports, we should leave gender-confused children alone and not sterilize them with puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, it's like stating that the grass is green. Many people believe that the grass is green. They can be right-wing, left-wing, nothing, not interested in politics at all. I'm not talking about left and right politics.
He's misgendered literally every trans person I know. I'm guessing that those trans people don't exist to him apart from himself. Like, he's the one true trans person. No one else, everyone else is faking it. We're just faking it, guys.
Marcus. You are the trans man version of Blair White. I think you study her and you make videos to be just like her. Are you worse than some of the people coming up? I want to put you in prison. I want to put you at take your rights away. Your rights are already threatened to be taken away, just like your trans brothers and sisters. But I think you'd be fine with your rights being taken away. Honestly, you should be put in prison just for that fucking name.
What rights are you talking about? As a transsexual, I live an amazing and free life. I'm not worried about right-wing politicians taking away my rights. Why should they? People like me are not the problem.
Marcus here is the male embodiment of Blair White. Even the facial expressions, the way he talks, it's very much trying to give exactly what Blair White does. It's really sad that all these people are trying to copy such a shitty person.
Blair White is a shitty person. Where's the proof? It's funny how you think saying you're just trying to be like her is an argument. It doesn't debunk anything I've said. And it's not even an insult because Blair is iconic. She's smart.
I don't know a single fucking trans person who calls themselves just a gender dysphoric woman. Look at me. If I was calling myself a gender dysphoric woman, oh my god.
By doing so, you would be honest about your gender situation. Is your objection to that literally just, oh my god? Or can you elaborate on why you disagree with the definition of our experience as trans men?
He refuses to call himself transgender. He refuses to be a part of the trans community because he believes people who have progressive views, we're not actually trans. He calls us the fake trans people. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not sitting here calling myself a woman. So if you want to talk about fake trans, buddy, let's talk about it.
You get triggered when I expose the frauds in our community and label them as fake trans. Yet you don't even hesitate calling me a fake trans. Make it make sense.
I know I'm a man inside and out, brother. I don't have to tell myself I'm a biological woman in order to feel okay with myself.
So is lying about what you are the only way you can feel okay with yourself? I don't think that's healthy. I mean, if you and I have always been men, inside and out, we wouldn't be trans men. We wouldn't be trans. But we are trans men. And trying to disregard our biology, our experiences with gender dysphoria, doesn't sound like trans pride to me.
I love myself and I'm proud of everything I've overcome as a trans man, so I can sit here and call myself a man. I don't think I have to prove anything to anybody.
You are desperately trying to prove to yourself that you're a man when you're not. Transsexuals' goal is to look like the opposite sex, not to become it, literally. Because we understand biology too. We know sex is unchangeable. Passing is the goal, and congrats, you do pass really well. So what's holding you back from accepting yourself and biology? I don't get it.
You're sitting here putting your mental illness on blast for everybody to see. You're boiling your transness down to a mental illness, and I think that's fucking weird.
What's weird? Having a mental disorder? Wow, you're so tolerant. But you're right, I am reducing my gender transition to a mental disorder. And that's because it's a fact. I transitioned due to a mental disorder. Being that you can't be born in the wrong body, and trans men aren't men in women's bodies. You know, stuff people like you are claiming? The only cause of actual transsexualism is gender dysphoria.
It's a sad excuse for spreading hate, trying to get right-winged people to like you because you're insecure about being trans.
Wait, wouldn't I be insecure about being trans if I claimed to be a man and not a trans man? If I was actually ashamed of being trans, I wouldn't constantly talk about being a gender dysphoric female who transitioned. You know the definition of trans? It seems like you're the one being insecure and ashamed of being trans because just hearing the definition of it makes you so angry.
I don't know what the you're trying to prove to everybody, bro. And I'm sorry. Like, I don't want you in the trans community. We don't want you. Just letting you know.
Good. Mashallah. You know, nothing makes me happier than when hateful and radical ideologues condemn me. It's such an ego boost, and it only makes me more secure in my beliefs.
This transgender man makes an entire video criticizing my performance on the podcast. And what's interesting is that he himself is transgender. His shoe shining Gunkle Tom has built an entire platform off of making fun of other gay and trans people.
I'm an Uncle Tom. That's cute. I think someone desperately needs to touch grass.
I really don't understand how people like that sleep at night.
What have I ever said that makes you say this? Does it offend you when I say children cannot consent? Does it offend you when I say we shouldn't sterilize children just because they're gender confused?
You're selling out your entire community for attention.
Oh, it's cute you think I'm a part of the trans community. I'm not selling my own people out because 99% of all trans activists, the ones I react to on my channel, are not even trans. So even if we pretend I'm a part of the transsexual community, I'm not even selling those people out. What I am doing is exposing all the fake trans people who are identifying as trans for clout, and I'm exposing all of their harmful lies.
We're gonna go the Blair White route of things, like at least have some charm, charisma.
Phew, lucky me, because you only need charm and charisma if you're trying to sell a lie. When you're desperately trying to convince people you're right, even though you're full of caca. You're on purpose derailing the conversation. You don't have any arguments. You might as well just say, Marcus, you're right. So thank you.
I don't see the charm and charisma, and I don't think this guy believes the things that he's saying. Why would our shoe-shining Gunkle Tom brand himself this way? This guy pretends that he's so genuinely caring about people and children. If you care so much, why would you name your brand the offensive T-word? There's no way in hell that was done in good faith.
Have you heard about this thing called irony? I mean, I am trans, but I don't identify as a tranny. And I'm definitely not offensive. That's kind of the whole point of my name.
Collecting an audience of people who hate trans people, and then on top of that, you're giving them permission to say the T word. I'm not offended by it. I'm just embarrassed.
It's not me, but it's freedom of speech that gives anyone the right to say tranny. But again, you're derailing the conversation, because why can't we talk about how your community gives, let's say, men the permission to identify as women, and then they get transferred to women's prisons? Your community says any man who identifies as a woman is not only a trans woman, but a woman. But I get it, me calling myself a tranny is the real problem.
The byline, not a real man, but a biological woman living life as a man. Oh, sad. So sad. And we have the mental health first banner up. Like, this entire profile stuck on stupid.
You think it's sad to see a trans person who lives in reality. Okay.
So we're going to watch this thing from the offensive T-slur. He's a trans person who says that other people are not allowed to have the same rights that he has.
It's not a human right for anyone who claims to be trans to go through the medical gender transition. Only people with chronic and severe gender dysphoria should, after a thorough assessment, receive the medical transition. If you don't deal with gender dysphoria, but you deal with borderline, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and so on, you should not receive the medical transition.
You live in a cishet society and you're a cuck to them. You are a gender slave.
Gender slave? Creativity 10 out of 10. So believing in the importance of honesty is somehow a bad thing. The non-sexual definition of cuck is a weak man with moderate or progressive political views. I'm confused. Aren't you the politically progressive one? Not to reveal my political opinions, but I'm not a progressive. And also, I'm not a man. But let's just call the real world the cishet society. So, what's the problem?
I can think of a few ways to offend you. Hey, buddy, you're a f***ing grifter, and you'll be sent to the same camps as the rest of the trans people.
Wow, that took a turn. My video was about dating, and while watching it, you're imagining me in a concentration camp. I think you need to see a therapist about those dark thoughts. A grifter is someone who makes money dishonestly by tricking people. Who am I tricking, and where am I lying? The only dishonest person here is you. You act like you care about trans people, but as soon as a trans person refuses to obey, to blindly follow your ridiculous ideology, you turn into a nasty bully. Or you try to, at least.
Ew, man. Ew, gross. Ew. Who the f put you on the planet, man? It wasn't God if God's all good and all loving. No, you're not a man. Shut the f up. You don't get to put yourself in the same category as me. Get the f out of here. I know trans men who are way better men than you.
What does it mean a trans man is a better man than me? I don't remember signing up for a competition, and I don't remember claiming to be a man. But don't you worry, no matter what we're talking about here, I would never want to be in the same category as you. Because I respect myself.
I would say that about a cis man too, by the way, and I have, all right? I don't accept men who are cucks. If you're like a political or ideological cuck like this bastard, I refuse to accept you. I refuse. You're a beta male.
No, I'm not a beta male because I'm a female. Females can be beta or alpha males. You're trying to insult me by basically calling me a weak man. I think manlyhood is a touchy subject for you. Are you projecting? Aren't you a pathetic weak man for being incapable of debating like a real adult, like a man? You're only capable of gaslighting, lying, cursing, talking over, or interrupting the other person, all of those things except for having any counter-arguments. You spent so much time degrading a manlyhood I never claimed to possess. I don't need the lies, the fake validation, or to be in manlyhood competitions in order to be happy.
Even he doesn't think he's a full man, okay? So I'm not being transphobic by saying he's not a man, because he says it himself. He's like, I identify as a man who was born shut up!
As I've said before on my channel, I do not identify as anything. Why should I? I can also just be honest. I am a gender dysphoric female on testosterone. I don't think it's controversial to say. But you obviously have a problem with the real definition of trans, and again, thank you for being open about it. You don't want to call me a tranny, which I call myself, but you don't mind calling me a cuck bastard, pussy grifter, cis bootlicker, piece of shit, beta male, not a man, woman playing dress up, gender slave, gross, and disgusting.
You're not a real man because you don't act like one. You act like you're still a woman playing dress up. It's disgusting. Why are you debasing yourself like that? You are a man. Act like it. There's so many better things that you can do with your life than harass people who are probably like sympathetic to your struggle as a trans person.
Oh, you mean the loving and tolerant activists like you? Right, I'm the one harassing and bullying people for no reason. Just because I feel like it, I'm bored and I never go outside. Oh wait, I think I'm describing you here. So calling me a cuck bastard, grifter, cis bootlicker, piece of shit, beta male, not a man, woman playing dress up, gender slave, gross and disgusting is all due to you caring about me and wanting to validate me as a man, a real one. Well, thank you, I guess.
Off. Be gone from my gender.
You
don't deserve it.
I'm so sorry, cis lord. I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'll be a good boy and obey you instead. I can be your gender slave. You hate me and my content because you believe I'm desperate for cis conservatives' approval and validation. Maybe your anger comes from I'm not obeying you. I think you're jealous and believe I'm obeying the wrong cis people. I think it really frustrates you that you can't control me, even though I'm a minority. Sorry, but it won't happen.
I feel like I gotta wipe you off of my boot, dude. Like, this is disgusting. I hate this smarmy behavior. This is so gross and grating. What is wrong with you? He knows exactly what he's saying. He's just a piece of... He's going to be sent to the same gulags as all the other trans people if the conservatives get their way. And no matter how much he licks their assholes. So keep licking, buddy. Keep on licking. See what happens. And, you.
Love you too, babe. You know what? I will keep licking, and you can keep imagining it, because I don't kink shame. So he believes that trying to bully and degrade me is a way to save me. For some reason, I don't feel this love. My conclusion is radical woke activists are intimidated by me. How do I know? I get under their skin. I can see their frustration in their eyes. And what do we all do when we get really frustrated, but we can't communicate how we truly feel? We get angry, if not furious. And that is what you just saw in this video today. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I do see it as a compliment when woke activists make these videos about me, screaming at me, cursing at me, without being able to explain to people why I'm wrong. The more nasty they get, the better. A lot of you say that I'm super calm in my videos. Do you know why that is? When I talk about how there are only two genders, we shouldn't transition children, talking about transsexualism in general, I have the truth on my side. I don't need to be angry. I don't need to act like a 12-year-old boy who thinks it's cool to curse at people for no reason.